The origins of the Vietnam War can be traced back to the early 20th century when Vietnam was under French colonial rule. The Vietnamese people fought for independence, leading to the First Indochina War, which lasted from 1946 to 1954. After a decisive defeat at Dien Bien Phu, the French withdrew from Indochina, and Vietnam was temporarily divided at the 17th parallel, with the North under the communist leadership of Ho Chi Minh and the South supported by the United States and other anti-communist nations. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, the conflict escalated as the Communist North began supporting the Viet Cong, a guerrilla force in the South fighting against the U.S.-backed government. The United States, under the belief of containing communism and the domino theory, gradually escalated its military involvement, starting with advisors and eventually deploying large numbers of troops. The war witnessed brutal tactics on both sides, including aerial bombardments, search and destroy missions, and the use of chemical defoliants like Agent Orange. The war became increasingly unpopular in the United States as the casualty toll rose and anti-war sentiment grew. The iconic Tet Offensive of 1968 marked a turning point, where the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese Army launched a massive surprise attack, shaking public confidence in the U.S. military's ability to secure victory. By the early 1970s, with mounting domestic pressure and dwindling support for the war, the U.S. began withdrawing troops. In January 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed, officially ending direct U.S. military involvement. The agreement called for a ceasefire and the withdrawal of remaining American troops. However, the conflict continued as the North Vietnamese launched a massive offensive in 1975, leading to the fall of Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, on April 30, 1975. This marked the end of the war, and Vietnam was reunified under communist rule. The Vietnam War had profound implications, both nationally and globally. It left a deep scar on the American psyche and led to a re-evaluation of U.S. foreign policy. The war also fueled anti-communist sentiments and affected subsequent military interventions. The war resulted in significant human suffering, with millions of military and civilian casualties. It also led to the displacement of millions of people and environmental damage from chemical agents and defoliants.